Everybody, we'll call the meeting to order. Apologize for being late. Um, First thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes for September 14th, 2023 and September 25th of 2023. Can I have a motion? Linda, second. Terry, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. I guess I forgot to ask. So you guys got any additions or corrections? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Reports. We have the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission minutes. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, then says unsafe structures. Any questions on that? Okay, the development summary. Any questions? Okay, we'll receive and file them. Next on the agenda is the zoning case. First one's ZBA-2023-0044, petition of Cindy Collins. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Terry? Okay, a second? Matt? Okay, Kathy?
All right, thank you. Yes, this is a special use request to allow for a commercial kennel in the A2 Agriculture Zoning District. The petitioner is proposing to locate a toy poodle and Maine Coon cat breeding business on this parcel with plans to allow up to 20 dogs and 10 cats. There are no consents or objections on file. The 16.3 acre parcel is located on State Route 91 near the Salem School Road intersection in Radnor Township. The parcel consists of a single-family dwelling in which the petitioner's parents live, agricultural buildings, agricultural fields, timber, and a creek. The parcel is zoned A2 agriculture along with the adjacent parcel to the west. Surrounding parcels to the north, south, and east form the municipal boundaries of the village of Denland. The surrounding land uses include agriculture, residences, and timber. The petitioner is proposing to locate a 560 square foot building on the property for housing the dogs and cats, which would be visually separated from the surrounding properties by existing agricultural buildings and topography. The petitioner runs her business online and would deliver the pets to buyers off-site at this property. There would not be customers allowed on the site. Animal waste will be removed daily and disposed of at the dump, and bleach will be used daily for disinfection. The petitioner has also stated that the dogs and cats would only be let out of the kennel when she is at the property, which would be several times a day. The kennel building would be located approximately 123 feet from the nearest property line, which exceeds the ordinance requirement of 100 feet. And it will be 840 feet from the nearest off-site residential building, exceeding the ordinance requirement of 200 feet. The request also meets the ordinance requirements of a minimum 2 acre parcel size. The petitioner's request is consistent with the existing agricultural zoning and uses of the subject property and would mitigate impacts on the surrounding properties due to the distance from property lines and visual separation due to topography and existing buildings on the lot. The parcel is currently served by private well and septic system, and the health department had no objection. The parcel is accessed via gravel driveway on State Route 91, and no new access points are proposed. We did not receive comments. The request is consistent with the county land use plan designation of village, as this request relocate a small commercial use to this area, and it does not negatively impact the parcel's environmental corridor designation. Staff recommended approval with the following restriction: that the special use is null and void in the event that the commercial kennel is no longer operated by the subject case petitioner Cindy Collins, and the zoning board concurred unanimously with the same restriction.
Thank you, Kathy. Does anybody have any questions for Kathy on this case? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next case is ZBA-2023-0043, petition of Peoria Solar 3 LLC. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Thank you, Dan. Sharon, okay. Kathy?
Right. This is a special use request to operate a 4.875 megawatt commercial solar energy facility on the northern approximately 28 acres of a 39.3 acre parcel located on West Grange Hall Road in Radnor Township. This is directly north, about a mile from the site that you approved last month at County Board for a different request. There are no consents and one objection on file for this case. The one objection was from Joseph Moulay, who was representing his mother, Rita Moulay, who lives on adjacent property to the west. His concerns were property values, possible impact to soil quality and drainage, and aesthetics of the project. The subject parcel consists of an agricultural field. All adjacent parcels are zoned to A2 agriculture and consist of agricultural fields and homesteads. There are also Ameren transmission lines located on the adjacent parcel to the east. The nearest non-participating dwelling would be located approximately 220 feet from the proposed solar panels, and it's buffered from the subject parcel by an existing tree line, and that would be Mrs. Moulay's property. The petitioner's request is consistent with the adjacent public utility land use and the ag character of the surrounding area. The proposed community solar facility will include rows of photovoltaic cell panels with single axis tracking technology to move the panels with the sun for maximum efficiency. In order to minimize impact on neighboring residential properties, the panels will be designed to prevent glare, and the panels would face southward, angled away from the roadways and the properties across from Grange Hall Road. The inverters would produce between 50 to 60 decibels, which is comparable to the sound of a household refrigerator. The nearest non-participating dwelling would be located approximately 220 feet from the proposed solar panels, which exceeds the requirement of 150 feet. The petitioner will install an 8 feet tall fence to enclose all panels and electrical equipment on site, with required warning signs and a lockbox for a 24-hour response for emergencies. The petitioner will also use a perennial native vegetative ground cover and vegetative maintenance to control soil erosion. This proposal does meet all of the standards of our Unified Development Ordinance for solar generation facilities, including setbacks, height, design and installation, lighting, security fencing, warning signage. They will need a decommissioning plan prior to the building permit, and they have already provided us with an executed interconnection agreement between Ameren and Illinois. An approval letter was also submitted from the Village of Dunlap. The fire chief would like an on-site visit prior to the project going live and some training, which we added as a restriction on this case. The health department had no objections on the case, nor did the county highway department. The FAA has issued a letter indicating no hazard for air navigation. The IDNR has reviewed the proposal and found no threatened or endangered species. This did have a low LISA for agricultural protection. It is consistent with Peoria County land use map. It's within the 1.5-mile extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Peoria. We received no comments from the city of Peoria. Staff recommended approval with the 8 restrictions in your report. These are the same restrictions that you've had previously with the one addition for the Dunlap Fire Department. And the Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval with those same restrictions unanimously.
Thank you, Kathy. Any questions on this solar project? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Last zoning case is ZBA-2023-0039, petition of Coral Ness and Lynn Ann Boone. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Sharon, second. Terry, thank you. Kathy?
This is a request to rezone a 1.55-acre parcel from A2 agriculture to RR rural residential in order to convert the existing garage at the property into an accessory dwelling for the petitioner's mother. Accessory dwellings may only be established in residential zoning districts. There are no objections and no consents on file. The parcel is located on US Route 150 in Kickapoo Township, approximately 1/3 mile west of Berkshire Estates subdivision. The parcel is zoned A2 agriculture along with all surrounding properties. Land is used agriculturally to the north, south, and west. There are 3 single-family dwellings adjacent to the east, and there are 10 single-family dwellings outside of platted subdivisions along this half-mile stretch. In addition, the Berkshire Estates subdivision, which is zoned R1, is less than half a mile to the east, and the Christ Alive subdivision zoned RR residential is located approximately 0.8 miles to the west. The request is consistent with surrounding residential uses and the residential zoning districts in the area. The ordinance does allow for accessory dwellings in any residential district, provided that for a number of factors. The principal use of a lot shall be a detached dwelling. No more than one accessory dwelling shall be located on the lot. The accessory dwelling needs to be owned by the same person as the principal dwelling. If the accessory dwelling is in a detached accessory structure, then the structure shall also serve as a garage for the residents in the principal dwelling. The accessory dwelling shall be no greater than 800 square feet, and the dwelling shall not be used as rental property for non-family members. The request is consistent with all of those standards. The property is served by an existing well and septic system. The Health Department has recently issued a permit for a new septic system for both properties and has no objections. This parcel is currently accessed by an existing gravel drive off Route 150, and no new access points are proposed. There were no comments from IDOT. The land use plan designates this as agriculture, while stating that agriculture is the predominant land use. Other types of development are restricted to the lowest producing ag land. This is a 1.5 acre parcel that is not being farmed, and no farmland will be taken out of production. It is consistent with our county land use plan. The parcel is within the 1.5 mile buffer of the city of Peoria, but we did not receive comments from the city of Peoria. The Kickapoo Township Planning Commission commented that they're not overly opposed, but do have reservations on the request. Staff recommended approval, and the zoning board recommended approval also unanimously.
Thank you, Kathy. Any questions? Quiet group today. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next, we have a resolution, the Strong Communities Grant Agreement. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Sharon, second.
Okay.
Yeah, I need a second. Okay, Terry, okay. Andrew, go for it.
All right, thank you. This summer, Peoria County Planning and Zoning applied for a grant with the Illinois Housing Development Authority, the Strong Communities Program. This grant is for the demolition of abandoned residential properties. We were awarded here recently $239,000, 10% of which will be for administrative purposes. We hope to demolish 8 houses and seek reimbursement for 1 house we previously demolished last year. This is properties that are continuously included in your land use committee packet. So our unsafe structures report, we ultimately take that and then apply for grant funding when it becomes available. So that's what we've done here. These are scattered throughout the county, unincorporated areas. Over the last couple of years, we did execute Strong Communities Program Round 1 and demolished 6 homes. So this is an extension of the success we've had with previous grant programs.
What happens to the property after the house is demolished? Who owns it? Since the owner's not doing it, the counties do it, do we have a lien on it?
We have the ability to place liens on the property through the grant. If the lien is recouped, we would then have to repay the state. So it would be at the discretion of the state's attorney's office as to whether we place that lien or not. At this point, that's still up for conversation.
Okay. Any other questions? Terry?
How does the 10% administrative value, how does that get into the zoning office payroll, I guess, is the best way for me to describe it. It just adds to your budget, your payroll budget?
Actually, since planning and zoning is part of the general fund, the 10% is, you'll see within the agenda briefing and resolution, there's I think a 4th item on there. That's a transfer into the general fund for just a general reimbursement of salaries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for getting, oh, Jimmy, you have one?
I think he answered. So all the properties have already been identified?
Yes. Yeah, we actually just recently sent out an email to township supervisors soliciting additional properties if they have stuff that they want to call to our attention. But these are properties that we've reported to this committee for months and even years in some cases.
And then are these ones that we actually had the request and started on, or are these the township's requests and started on? Like, I know Limestone was numerous ones in the past, so is this something Limestone asked for these properties, or was this county originated?
It could be a combination. In some cases, it's citizen generated. In some cases, it's reports we've heard back from various townships. It's very well represented throughout the county.
Just adding to that, Limestone Township and, well, myself and Planning and Zoning all meet quarterly to talk about problem properties. So there's a long list of properties that we've been keeping an eye on, at least in Limestone Township.
And Andrew, is there more grants that you guys will be applying for that are coming up, or is this just the one grant that we can do yearly? I mean, it's wonderful that you're getting the grants to do this, because I had a house down the road from me that looked horrible for years, and it's good that we can't take something away from somebody just because somebody thinks it's bad, but when they get in the shape that you guys are tearing them down, they're in really bad shape. So is there any other grants that you guys are going for just for curiosity, or is this just the 1 year, but every time you go for it whenever it's available?
Right. We'll look for grants as soon as something becomes available. We'll proactively research it and see if it's something that there's an opportunity for. This is one that we've been successful with in the past, and really built an application anticipating that this announcement was coming, so that we were ready to roll.
Sounds great. Thank you. Any other questions? Right.
So on the unsafe structures, there's 12. So if we have 8, that will leave us with 4 left potentially, or is there more than that outstanding? How many, if you had all the money in the world tomorrow, how many total? I see 12 properties.
And right now we have 11 currently on this list. So on the grant list, I should say, this list was prepared earlier this summer, so it perhaps has changed. We're continuously adding and or subtracting from that list. At times we do have compliance from residents themselves. So as we identify more, they're added to that list, and then we kind of keep that as a rolling list for when these opportunities arise.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We are at public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that has any public comment today? Okay. Anybody have any miscellaneous? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.